Okay, so that's good. Come on up out of that, everyone. How's it feel?
Feels good. I notice a difference. I prefer the one that has more support. It covers more span here.
Mm-hmm. So you like the low back one on your neck?
Yes, and this one also is also very effective. It just feels different when it's placed here.
Mm-hmm.
It has more pressure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you feel like if you're using either one of those and you feel pain, like, so is it usually it's in the wrong position, or that's a sign that you should stop? What do you do if you feel something?
There can be other things going on in the person's body, because their body could be so well compensated to their previous dysfunction, basically, that maybe their hip is too tight to let go and allow the stringings that connect things one to another. Maybe they're finding pain in a slightly different place, actually, than where the device is put. Now, if they're feeling pain right in the area that the device is put, I would just say go less time and less pressure, and just do it more frequently. Like even do it 4 times a day for, 30 seconds even, believe it or not. When we're using some of the other neck rolls that I have, some people say they can't tolerate it. 10 seconds, and then, believe it or not, with repeated use, it just gets those tissues to accommodate most of the time. And if it's no good, then not everything is for everybody, and maybe it shouldn't be used.
And how do you know when you're done? Is it you say, okay, I'm going to do it for 5 minutes, or does something change in your neck where, okay, this I've had a good session now, I should stop?
Mm-hmm. That is a hard question to answer, because there is no definitive moment in time where you're going to feel, okay, I got to the conclusion and now I'm done. It is a process. The process of a neck or a back tightening down over time is a process in and of itself. It can take decades to achieve that tension that led the person to want to use the device. And so then to undo it is also going to be a process. So that's the way to think of it. It's like, well, I got 5 minutes of my undoing process done today, or today I could actually fall asleep on it and do it for 20 minutes before I decide I need to kick it aside. So it's a process, and you're not going to feel one specific thing. But I noticed when Evelyn got off the table after doing our demonstration on the low back, she said, I feel taller. What did you say? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like she's been lengthened out. She said something
like that. Yeah, I could tell there was more length in my low back.
I've seen it often being in one session. For me, it was in one session that I got dramatic results. But if it doesn't, it's still that plastic deformation, the slow change achieved over time. I'd say to give it a good, even 5-6 weeks, because it takes ligaments that long to even heal. A damaged ligament will take 5 to 6 weeks to heal. So if we're trying to improve the situation of a ligament that's trying to heal, to give it that amount of time is going to be important. And different people have different things going on. Some people have metabolic inflammatory conditions. It's going to slow their progress, or they just have a lot more degeneration than somebody else, and so it could take longer in one person. I'd give it a good 5-6 weeks before deciding that it's not for you. And unless it's actually hurting, then I'd stop. Yes, each time you should feel better, and like a lot of things with health, you might not feel it better per time, but I tell people to look at it as 3-day chunks. As 3 days goes by and you've used it every day, can I look back and say, 3 days ago I was not as good as where I am today? So because the bar chart, if you were to draw your progress, might look a little like this, and so you don't want to assess every moment as your progress, but you can look at it in 3-day chunks. Did I make progress from 3 days ago? That usually works for most people.
And if if you're just not good about doing it every day, do you still get benefit if you're doing it every other day? Is it still that cumulative effect?
It is still cumulative that way. And in fact, with myself, when I do have a disc issue, I don't use it every day by any means. I used it initially a lot, and then now I pull it out, every 2-3 weeks, because I achieved the benefit that I needed, and now I just kind of use it as a maintenance.
I have a question, Sylvia. If someone has sway back, an extreme lordosis, does that matter? I mean, can people use it anyway?
They can
of course, you would be
still-
recommending it. But
Right, they can still use it. They may want to use it on a harder surface so that it seems to push into the small of their back more. Lordosis, she's referring to the small of a person's back being very swayed. So if their sway is very distinct, then if they did it on a harder surface, then they might feel the pressure of the device more. Also, they may need more pumps. They may be like a 5-pump person until they feel anything happening at all. And then they just start deeper in the expansion process.
And then, like you were saying, maybe put a pillow under the knees.
That's a good idea, putting a pillow or even a large ottoman to where the knees are at 90-90. So if this is a person's body, their hips and their knees, they can have their knees way high up, and that can help. I wouldn't say to try that for the average person, but those are the sort of variations that can be experimented with individual needs. Okay, so you preferred this one, and this one isn't even a neck device. Like Posture Pump doesn't even necessarily talk about or recommend. It's not that it's not recommended, it's just that this is their low back device, and yet Evelyn prefers it to the very nice neck device. And so that is the beauty of the individuality of the human body, that everybody is different, there's slight variations. Evelyn happens to feel the best effect, the most support, and the most expansion from what she told me a little bit earlier with this device. So I offer them both to everybody, giving them a chance to see, well, with this person's neck curvature, with this person's neck history, with this person's neck size, which one feels better? It could be this one, it could be this one. I personally like them both for different reasons because they do feel different. They feel different. They're both achieving a traction and an expansion. Extension traction is what we call it in chiropractic because the neck is extended back and being tractioned. So they're both achieving that, but they put pressure in slightly different ways in slightly different places. You will experience it as different. And I feel lucky that I have access to both of them, but some people may, that's why I like the rentals too. We rent these out at the office for $1 a day. You get to try it, see if it works well for you or not. And if it doesn't, you know, then they have made a decision like, well, I'm not going to buy that one, but let me try the other one. Oh, that works better. So it all is a good opportunity to see what works best with the varieties of body shapes and histories that exist out there.